The third annual Halloween Parade and Costume Contest will be held Wednesday, October 31st after the safe stops at the Scotland County Care Center at 7 p.m. There's 3 age groups, 0 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 10. First, second, and third place prizes will be awarded. All Ghosts and Goblins get a bag of goodies. Brought to you by KMEM Radio and Scotland County Care Center and participating sponsors, including Fred Rest Collision Repair, Gas and More, M's Place, New Century Computers, Carpet One, the Exchange Bank, Garth and Basket Furniture, Copper Construction, and the Heartland Bank. Sign up open till 3 p.m. October 31st at KMEM Radio or call 465-7225.
Sign-up's been extended to the night of the event, so show up and we'll put you in the lineup.
Here's Tuesday weather on America's Best Country. We'll see mostly sunny skies and a high near 55. Tonight we'll see partly cloudy skies and a low of 32. It'll be mostly sunny tomorrow and the high should be near 57 with partly cloudy skies tomorrow night and a low of 37. That's weather on America's Best Country.
This is the award-winning broadcast of Healthy University, bringing health and vitality to you and your family, brought to you by Scotland County Hospital in Memphis. Now, here's your host, Dr. Randy Tobler.
Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade of fear.
Good morning. Welcome to Healthy You on October 30th. Yes, that's the big day. If you haven't set aside a little time for later this afternoon, we hope you will be able to do that because it's a huge day at the hospital and we want to highlight what's going to be going on.
Absolutely.
As we celebrate the grand opening, or is it reopening, or grand celebration, or what do we call it?
Open house.
Oh,
Open
the
house.
open house.
The open house.
I thought it was a grand something. It's a grand open house.
Yes, it is.
All right. And to help fill us in on the whole timeline of how we got to this great day, Marcia Dial just walked in the door, the CEO of Scotland County Hospital, and she'll be filling us in on all of the festivities and some of the tours and other things going on that you can take part of today.
Big day.
How you doing, Marcia? Welcome.
I'm good. Thanks for having me in here this
Oh,
morning.
it's great to have you. This has been a day that's been long in the planning and long in the building and long in coming, and boy, it's great to see.
Oh, this
A
is
great day.
This is an exciting day for us. It's something, as you said, it's been in the planning. Scotland County Hospital, was 40 years old, and
Yeah.
we had been looking at it with the board of directors that the facility, when it was built for a hospital that had lab and x-ray. Those were pretty much the ancillaries when our hospital was built. And so for years, we've been crunching space and moving things around and trying to make room for new services. And it had come to the point where the infrastructure was kind of starting to crumble a little bit. And so we had, the board of directors and I had gone through a master facility plan to get an outside appraisal of the condition our facility was in, where it needed to be for the future for delivery of health care. And honestly, we had just finished a master facility plan in November of 2009. Mm-hmm. And by January of 2010, we were already looking at architectural plans and a contract with USDA to do this project.
And what's sort of cool is, that was on the heels of a successful expansion, in a smaller way. And so it's sort of been the tradition at the hospital to keep up and stay just barely ahead of, so there wasn't a sort of a catastrophe of lack of resources, right? It was like a Goldilocks, never too much, never too little, just the right amount, because the demand keeps increasing. We have a large service area relative to critical access hospitals, and this has all been well thought out, planned, and developed. And it's funny because even though you've been through the process, how many times with different expansions now?
This is my 6th building project under my watch.
Wow.
And it's funny to see that despite, it's like remodeling a home. No matter how you plan and what you think, there's always little bumps in the road as it comes, and those have been interesting to navigate the whole way. But it's been a great project.
Well, as we've gone through, as I said, 6 building projects,
Yeah.
we have always done it to meet the needs of what we most currently have.
Yep.
With the next step in the plan of what we can do with our next building project. And up until this project, we've been doing these projects with planning how we would pay for them as we went. You know, I've said this many times. I had a board of directors that told me, Marcia, you can build whatever you want, but you have to pay for it.
Wow. What a novel idea. Maybe some of our board members should be speaking to the legislator up. And so this then was a combination of 5 different sub projects, right?
They were.
Why don't we go through that so to give people a little preview ahead of today when they come out, and that way they can have in their mind's eye what they might see later on this afternoon.
Okay, well, I mean, I am so grateful that I have always had the pleasure of working with a progressive board of directors. And they just got it. They knew it. And whatever we were planning and could justify it, they were all in for it. And with our master facility plan, it came back with 5 phases that really needed to be addressed, and they had it in prioritized timelines of which we needed to do most immediately, and the next step, and the next step, and the next step. And those 5 projects, the first one is that we needed to address our heating system with 40-year-old boilers that were not very efficient, and the age of them, and no longer able to get parts for them. We knew that we needed to replace the boilers for the hospital. And we very much needed an emergency department. Most people remember that, you know, we had 2 rooms off of a corridor, no privacy, and no place for overflow. So we very much needed an emergency department, a registration area and waiting area, and the boiler system, and that was phase 1. Phase 2 was the construction of a new surgery center, and that was very much on the high priority list because our hospital was constructed with 1 OR room.
Yep.
And it was constructed during the time when there was very little equipment in an OR room other than the OR table and anesthesia.
Right.
And of course, you know, that has expanded and technology has grown to where all of the equipment would barely fit in. And in the existing OR suite, you know, Dr. Tobler, you've done surgery in that room many times.
Sure. I know in some cases we'll bring in 1, 2, 3, 4 extra rolling carts of equipment. And with Dr. Thome and Dr. Miller Parrish and the things they bring, it got to be where it was like sardines in the can, trying to walk around in there. Plus, the air handling system was old, too, and that's important, the environmental system in the OR as well.
To be able to control the humidity and the temperature.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we saw the construction of a new surgery center as something that very much desired. We have great surgeons. We've methodically gone about it and have wonderful anesthesia services 24/7. We have surgeons available 24/7, and adding additional surgeons with orthopedic surgery and ENT and of course OB-GYN and general surgery that we felt like this is something that's very much needed for our communities that we serve. And we wanted a surgery center that could function like a freestanding surgery center, that if you're having outpatient surgery, you can come in to the entrance of the surgery center, have your surgery, be placed in prep and hold and dismissed from there, and never have to wander through the rest of the hospital.
But I can tell you, having practiced in a different environment before where there were freestanding surgery centers, and while all surgeries that are planned, most surgeries that are planned to be outpatient stay that way, some don't. Some have to be converted. You run into things you don't plan on.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so nice. It has the feel of that freestanding experience, but yet it's a lifeline to the hospital in case you need a little more acute and perhaps an overnight stay to deal with an anesthetic problem or a surgical issue. And that's, I tell you, as a surgeon, gives me great comfort to be able to have sort of the best of both worlds there.
Yeah, and the design I think is really good. Yeah. That, you know, it's just straight up the corridor to the ICU or inpatient, and we have that support system to care for those patients in our hospital. It was also designed to connect to the Women's Center's surgery center so that we have all of our surgery suites aligned.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. And you get a chance, by the way, to see that tonight from 3 till 7 at the open house for Scotland County Hospital, showcasing the renovation. And our special guest is, of course, Marcia Dial, who is our CEO. And been CEO for how long?
Well, I'm about 36 and a half years. I'm like the 3-year-old. I count the half year.
And so phase 1, ER. Phase 2, med surge. And then phase 3?
No,
phase 2 is surgery.
Surgery.
And then phase 3?
Was med surge.
Was med surge, right.
And all of these years, we had a nurse's station that sat on Grand Central Station corner.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere you went in the hospital, you had to walk by the med-surg nurse's station and past the patient rooms.
Right.
So we felt like we needed, for a lot of reasons, we needed a new med-surg department. We needed rooms that had private bathrooms with handicap showers. And there are workstations outside of the rooms where the nurse is out on the floor right by the patient. New critical care rooms, negative flow rooms for isolation, the pediatrics. Nurses station is centrally located in that department, but that department is contained where you have so much more privacy for your patients.
So the nurses have pretty much, eye shot with 90% of the rooms, and it creates a more, I guess, just a more cozy environment for that element of care. And I think that's a modern design, modern hospital design, and that's exactly what was emulated. Fourth area? Phase
area.
4?
Well, when we vacated the old surgery in the hospital, that was totally renovated. It was totally gutted. Everything built new, and imaging went in there.
Yeah.
So we now have our main rad room, 64-slice CT scanner, 3D, 4D ultrasound, mammo, all in a contained department. And once again, much more efficient, but also much more privacy for the patient.
And centrally located between the ER and the med-surg, which is where the bulk of that kind of operation takes place. And so very, very nice department. And people will be able to walk through and get a little glimpse into things.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely. Then phase 5 was the construction to the east of the hospital that has the new library conferencing center in it that is meant to be not only for the hospital's use, but it's also for the community. Community, anytime you want to book a meeting, you can put it on the calendar, use that space. There are computers in that library conference center for the community to use. And I will say there are 2 rooms, but it opens into one grand room, and they're busy all of the time. So if anyone in the community wants to use it, you need to get your name on the calendar.
I know we already have internal food fights over who can get the room. I mean, it's like, I want it for a webinar. Well, I want it for a webinar. So that's great.
Well, and we were fortunate enough to get some grant money to help put the media center and the computers in there. So that helped in the furnishing of it. We were also able to expand Memphis Medical's clinic, and that's a busy, growing clinic, and we were able to add 3 additional physician offices and 9 exam rooms,
right,
and an additional nurses station in there. So.
And they're humming all along every day as well.
Much needed.
Boy, every bit of that clinic space is in total use, all the time.
All the time, and then it allowed us to have a new home for medical records and a new home for administration.
Right. Yeah.
And besides those 5 phases, as we vacated the old medical records area, then that allowed us to move towards actually looking at the next building project. But we were able to renovate that space and add a new dining room and just a comfort room for visitors and patients to be able to sit down and relax with their families a little bit. And then the original women's OB department is totally under renovation. Now that area is not quite finished yet, but that will house outpatient services.
Right.
So we looked at literally the entire facility needed a remake.
Yeah. And don't forget about the beautiful courtyard too. I mean, that is just gorgeous, and what a inviting place for families that are struggling with ill members, or even patients want to go out and enjoy the area in the right circumstances. It's beautiful there.
And I see therapy taking their patients out there to exercise. It is a beautiful area.
Yeah. It's great.
So you talk about a forward-thinking board of directors, and we had looked at the phases that just needed fixed. And the first numbers that were coming up on that were about $12.5 million. And we're frugal people, and I have to say that. But, as we worked at it, and the board of directors recognized that if we just did all of the phases at the same time, it would save millions, as opposed to bringing construction crews in 5 different times. And so the board of directors just like, well, let's just do this. Let's just do it. And USDA with the great working relationship we've had with them, we were able to secure $9 million in funding that did the portions of the building project that were with Murray Company and retire what little existing debt we had and provide some of the equipment we needed for the new surgery and emergency department. And then a $1 million grant that helped fund the building to the east of the hospital with the new library conference center. So anytime you can have 10% of your project with grant money, that is amazing.
That's a good deal. That's a good deal. And you guys will enjoy coming out and seeing the fabulous expansion and really appreciating as you walk through there. Just imagine that you're a patient, because you may well someday be, or some family member of yours may be. And imagine the old hospital and the new, and just think how patient-centric it is, not only with the building and the walls and the bricks and the mortar, but also the interior designed to be friendly not only for patients, but to enable the caregivers to give better care as well. And I think that's what's really extraordinary. It's been a fabulous project. Today, the open house for Scotland County Hospital, 3 o'clock, right? Doors open for tours.
3 o'clock, and
supervisors will be proudly showing off their stuff, strutting their stuff, right?
yes, they will. Elisa and Bud have done a great job of lining people up to be present to.
Yeah, they have
provide
worked
the tours
tirelessly.
on my land.
Yeah. Poor Elisa's got herself worked into a dandy cold here over it all. And you know, feel free to ask questions. I know a lot of the docs will be walking around, staff, and everyone's ready, willing, and excited to answer questions you may have. And if you see Bud in the hall, by the way, talk to him about that colonoscopy.
Here we go again.
It's a running thing here on the program. We're working on him, I tell you.
There are a couple of things that I do need to mention, all seriousness aside, but at 5 o'clock there'll be an opportunity for everyone who turns out to come to the Library Conference Center. And we will stop the tours temporarily at that point in time so that everyone can collect. And you'll have an opportunity to hear about how this came about. You'll be able to talk to people, like, for instance, there'll be people there from USDA, and there'll be several people there that are dignitaries that in our state, and an opportunity to hear more about what happened here at the hospital, how it came about, and then also when they're finished there, then we are having a ribbon cutting ceremony, and it's going to be over in the reception area where we're asking people to come in at initially.
At the south entrance?
Yes, at the south entrance. And we want to make sure if you get the chance, you'll stop over there and see that event.
In case parking lots are full on the south or the east side by the clinic, I mean, people will be there to direct you to the right place, right? And so we'll have all that covered.
Yep.
So just ask.
Yeah, I think we'll need to probably use the north parking lot also, and we'll have people there to
guide you,
to direct you the
so,
right places.
Good point. If you do have to come in at either the library building or the north building, there will be people there to help you get where you need to go.
So again, it's from 3 to 7 with the ceremony, including some remarks by Marcia and I guess members of the board and others, as well as some of the dignitaries that will be there from the government and from USDA, followed by ribbon cutting. And then more tours. If you're not able to get off work to, you know, we hope you can make the ceremony, but at the very least, come out and say hi and take a look at the place. Yeah.
I'd like to mention just a couple of things. I mean, during the time we have for remarks, we are going to honor some people for some amazing service. And so I'd like for you to be there to recognize these people. And then we are going to have some fabulous food.
Oh, great.
And I think that we have a great giveaway that's a kind of a keepsake type of giveaway. So between the remarks, the tours, the food, we intend to have a good time. And I would just encourage, come out and look at your hospital, because we only have one reason for being there, and that's for you. So,
that's right.
So come out and join us. And I'm actually going to exit here pretty quickly and go back to work.
Got to put some finishing touches on.
Yeah.
All right. She's always working 24/7, and that's why we are where we are, because of Marcia's dedication and, of course, the board's support. It's been a wonderful collaboration and great planning. I got to tell you, it is a gem. this hospital is a real gem, and the community should be proud. Marcia, thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for letting me stop by.
Oh, always. And, anytime you want to have the mic, it is yours.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot. And come on, say hi to Marcia and congratulate her and the board later on. The ceremony at 5, but I think she'll be around and, give her a shout out for all that she's done for the hospital all these many years. All right, guys, we're going to take a break, step aside, and then open up the phone lines.
Absolutely. The numbers are 465-7225 and 1-800-748-7875.
We'll be right back.
So don't forget who's taking you home, or in whose arms you're gonna be. So darling, save the last dance for me. Oh, baby, won't you save the last dance for me? Ooh, you make a promise that you'll save the last dance for me.
He actually said it. Mitt Romney said 47% of Americans just don't matter.
So my job is not to worry about those people.
His job is not to worry about those people? So what does Mitt Romney's 47% view of America mean for Iowa? Does it mean don't worry about the 221,000 Iowa students who get Pell Grants?
So my job is not to worry about those people.
So don't worry about 584,000 Iowans who rely on Medicare or Social Security.
So my job is not to worry about those people.
And don't worry about caring for the hundreds of thousands of Iowa veterans who've served our country. Mitt Romney said those citizens, meaning Iowa veterans, seniors, and middle-class families, call themselves victims. Victims? Iowa, we know we can do better.
I'm Barack Obama, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Obama for America.
Halloween is an exciting time for the kids, but it can also be dangerous. That's why everyone at Walker Motors Collision Repair in Memphis have brought you this safety reminder. Please keep an eye out for the kids in the neighborhood and have a safe and happy Halloween. From everyone at Walker Motors Collision Repair in Memphis.
After the bathroom, the most important room in any business is the office. Think about it. Everybody needs the office. Shipping, delivery, bookkeeping, payroll, customer service. The office is where it's at. That's why some of the best job prospects in Southeast Iowa are in office administration. Lucky for you, this SCC. Get your accounting, business, or office admin degree and flex your organizational muscle. We're on to something. Southeastern Community College, educating students and keeping businesses running smoothly since 1920. Register today.
Dave Spence knows Missouri agriculture benefits from a strong economy. He'll create a climate where businesses can thrive by modernizing our workforce and stopping needless government regulations. Spence supports ethics reform and making state government smaller, more transparent, and more accountable. Dave Spence is a conservative who shares our Missouri family values. We need the common sense, the business sense of Dave Spence. Vote Dave Spence for Missouri Governor. Paid for by the Missouri Farm Bureau Statewide Farm PAC, which is responsible for the content of this message. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
A man of principle, Todd Aiken believes the private sector can be successful without the long arm of government. Todd Aiken will fight for Missourians. He understands the importance of tax reform, regulatory relief, and developing domestic energy sources. Aiken will work to downsize government to make the decisions necessary to reduce our nation's growing debt. Hard times call for tough choices. Todd Aiken will not back down. Vote for Todd Aiken for U.S. Senate. Paid for by the Missouri Farm Bureau Statewide Farm PAC, which is responsible for the content of this message. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
We're back. It's 29 after the hour. And we thank Marcia Dial for taking a little time out of this very busy day with last-minute preparations. You know how that is when you're giving a party.
Yes.
You're never done. You're never ready. People are walking in the door, and you go, oh, wish I would have gotten the pink Kleenex box instead of the blue.
Yeah, it's kind of like a wedding. Everything bottlenecks down to that last 15 minutes, and the brides begin to wonder if she's made the right choice or not, and the in-laws are fighting with the outlaws and over somebody sitting in the wrong pew, and you are really?
So, there's been a tremendous, I can't tell you the amount of hours that have gone into planning. And, I've sat at the board meetings and listened to it's a lot of struggle to do a project like this. Think about any little home renovation project you've done and how, boy, it's, do we want the chrome faucets or the brass faucets? Do we want this? And that, that's a tenth of the problems that were dealt with. Marcia talked about the older structure, and there were, pipe problems that people were unknown, things that were unknown until you get into a project. That's
Absolutely.
the nature of this kind of thing. And thank gosh for the wisdom and the knowledge and the database and the various skills that the various folks on the board brought to the project. It was amazing to watch it work out, and it sure has. And I'm proud to work in a place that's so nice. And
you try to make all the preparations you can when you start to do something like this, or when the process finally that day comes and it initializes and it begins to take place, and the construction begins. Dirt's moved, and you begin to see something happen for the first time. But at our facility, although we had done projects before, and several of them on the scale, they were a lot different than this one was. Yeah. And so here it is. Yeah, it's the day. It all starts today. And I got to tell you, it was a bit overwhelming because you're not looking at changing the inside of one section. You're doing 5 phases. And
this wasn't a facelift. This was a total body liposuction and reconstruction.
Right. And it's all going to happen at once.
And we know that all 4 phases, 1 through 4 phases added 18,926 new square footage and 13,468 renovated space.
Wow.
So phases 1 through 4 added 18,926 new space. And then phase 5, which is the grant, which was the grant money, which you don't have to pay back, and the conference library center was 7,300 square feet of new space. So that does not come
So it about doubled the size of the hospital?
Yeah. Well, I got a question to ask you. If you want to have a meeting over in the new conference building, who's the go-to person for the calendar and all that?
Kristen Hyde is the keeper of the books.
There we go.
Keeper of the keys.
Yes.
So call and ask for Kristen.
If she were Bud, I'd call her the troll at the gate to the bridge, but she's not Bud.
She's prettier and nicer than that.
That goes without saying.
I'm taking too many hits.
You are today. You are, buddy.
Now, folks, I want to make sure that if you're able to make the open house today and say hi to folks, and congratulate Marcia and congratulate the board, congratulate all the supervisors and the nursing staff who spent an inordinate amount of time. Everyone from Tim Grant at the lab to Ruth and Leon and everyone in maintenance.
Oh, absolutely.
And how about that surgery
and
staff?
The surgery
they
staff
poured over.
Having to close down because the generator's being switched from one building. I don't even understand it all. The planning and contingency elements of this project, on and on. It was a rolling contingency plan. Because remember, if there's plastic separating the outside world where dirt moving is going on from the inside world where we don't want people to get infections, a tremendous amount of planning. And I mean, through it all, there's been no uptick in hospital infections. It's been pulled out seamlessly. Well, was it unsightly at times? That's the nature of things. Were there seams where the tile had been pulled up? Yeah, but I'm talking about the core duties. That's been pulled off seamlessly. So make sure that you thank and congratulate all of the worker bees at the hospital as well, and especially Elisa, our friend who has planned this so tirelessly.
Absolutely.
Because she's been, the other night at the end of the board meeting, I thought the board meeting ran late. It was 10:30. And I walked by and Elisa's there at her desk.
Yeah.
Working.
Pouring into it.
And Bud as well, who's been very active with that project. You guys have been everywhere all the time.
Bud is the master tour guide. He is the man with the plan today.
Yesterday afternoon, it was, I can't even remember what time it was.
Yep.
And we had been doing stuff all day, and the thought came along, I wonder what it is I'm supposed to do at home, because I'm pretty sure I got a honey-do list. I just at this point have no idea.
You and Elisa have pretty much thrown away your private lives while you've developed this program and tried to make everything run smoothly, and it's going to be fabulous. And I know the latest project has been the gift shop. I mean, this wasn't like phase 6 or 7. This was sort of like when you do the project and you do your little build out on your home and there's some extra lumber and siding, so you'll build the little kids' playhouse in the back. This is fun because this is the ladies' auxiliary playhouse. My daughter saw it the other day. She was by it. I had to sign something. I couldn't get her out of there. She's, Dad, I want a watch. I want a purse. I want this. I'm like that. I said, okay, good. But no one was there, but they will be today, right? Okay, because it's all together. It's very cool. It's there on the
that'll be another thing, and we'll take you
Yep.
on the tour as you go by. You'll get to see it.
Right. And you've got some fun things planned for little handouts and stuff today?
We do. Yes.
Gifts?
So if you come in the south entrance,
Yeah.
we have a great group. I think it's all ladies that are going to be greeting you at the south entrance.
Yeah.
And we do want you to sign in today. We would like to have a record of your attendance.
Mm-hmm.
And then we used a local business to provide us with some really neat commemorative items. And so we were thrilled to be able to use a local business to do that. Laser Creations did engraving on our pens,
well, that's
Aaron
wonderful.
and Stacy. And so
beautiful.
I was thrilled to be able to use locals on
Yeah,
that
that's
project.
great.
Keep the money local.
That's Aaron and
Stacy
Stacy,
Manhart.
yeah.
Yeah. And so we've
Could they come into the OR with that machine sometime? Maybe we could zap some endometriosis. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Aaron about that. I'm looking for a new laser. Okay. We'll step aside and take a little break. But Elisa, really, thank you so much for all that you've done in coordinating this, Bud, as well, and working tirelessly to pull this off. And I think it's going to be fabulous.
It's all good.
If you get a chance, just stop by and say hi. How long's the tour going to take, Bud?
Oh, my goodness, half hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got a half hour to take a look at your hospital.
Sure. It'll
That's
be done
Scotland
before you know it.
County Hospital. And the community went away, right? Or memorial went away about a year ago, right? So Scotland County Hospital. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we'll come back, and I've got a couple of stories that are interesting, and maybe you can start on your new exercise plan because it'll keep your brain from shrinking. We'll talk about that by taking a tour through the hospital.
Yeah.
How's that sound? Start today at 3 o'clock.
See, 30 minutes of exercise walking.
There you go. Anytime
Awesome.
up till 7. We'll be back.
Love to me, baby, so good. Take this heart of mine into your hands. You give good love to me.
Your American dream is out there. Protect it with American Family Insurance.
My dream is acres and acres of land. Not just any land, my land. Rich, fertile land. Land that feeds my family, my country, and my soul. My dream is a farm, a proud tradition passed down to me from my father, from his father, and perhaps someday to my son. He'll drive the combine at harvest time like he drives the toy tractor now. Of course, he'll probably want to replace the old barn with something bigger, brighter, but the dream will be the same. And because he won't want to lose sleep worrying about storms, fires, or a large liability claim damaging this dream, he'll protect it like I do, with American Family Insurance.
Your dream is out there. Go get it. We'll protect it. Whether your dream is a farm, ranch, car, house, or college education for your children, American Family Insurance offers a variety of ways to protect it. Find an agent and get a competitive quote at amfam.com or call 1-800-MY-AMFAM. Life insurance underwritten by American Family Life.
Following is a dramatization.
Okay, Mr. Coster, we're ready.
I'm Chris Custer, all prosecutor, no politics.
You're not serious, right? Mr. Coster, you refused to help Missouri fight Obamacare, even though it was your job. Plus, you supported HSUS and their attack on farmers. Pretty, political.
Okay, let's move on. I'm Chris Custer. We need consistent leadership.
Oh, you're killing me, Mr. Coster. We definitely can't say that. I mean, first you were a Republican, now you're a Democrat. Who knows what you'll be next year? Plus, you completely switched your position on abortion. First pro-life, then pro-choice. Not exactly consistent.
How about tough on crime?
You gave a plea deal to a serial killer.
Okay, what would you say?
How about Chris Coster? All hat, no cattle.
Hi, I'm Ed Martin. As Attorney General, I'll do whatever it takes to stop Obamacare and protect our rights. Help me defend Missouri. I need your vote November 6th. Paid for by Missourians for Ed Martin, Randy MacArthur, Treasurer.
Mid-American Energy is putting the power to use energy more efficiently in our hands, helping with the big things like rebates to make approved energy-efficient appliances more affordable, and helping identify the little things like compact fluorescent bulbs and weather stripping that add up to save some green. Energy efficiency is in our hands with Mid-American Energy. Obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Working with a big company like ADM sure has its benefits. For starters, we've got size, reach, expertise, and a wide range of services, like grain marketing and ADM crop risk services. But here's one maybe you haven't thought about before: profitability. As in, not only can these services help you increase your profitability, it's actually what they were designed to do. After all, when you succeed, everyone benefits. Now that's big. ADM, Get to know the biggest little company out there today at adm.com/farmers.
We're back on Healthy You. If it's Tuesday morning on KMEM, it is Healthy University. Welcome. Glad you enrolled. No tuition, no finals, no quizzes, no homework even.
No homework.
We do like you to call in now. And, 465-7225 if you have a question.
And 1-800-748-7875.
We did have a caller and said, but what happens if I have a disabled parent or I'm disabled and I want to visit the hospital this afternoon? What's the answer, Bud?
Absolutely. We have and will have several wheelchairs available at different stations along the route in case things start out real well and then don't go so well. We'll have transportation, as it were, down the hallway.
My dad has an injury like that. You know, he was in a head-on collision and busted his heel and ankle so bad that he can walk about 100 yards and then he gets fatigued. It hurts real bad. So some days are better than other. I mean, that's the kind of thing. So you start out on the tour, and if you need help, we'll give you help. If you need help right from the beginning of the tour, we'll give help. Okay? Now, and it would be a good time, especially if you're seasoned, to take advantage and take the half-hour tour and let that launch your march towards less brain shrinkage.
Right.
Our brains naturally shrink a little bit as we get older, but reports in Neurology, which is a very esteemed and prestigious journal of the American Academy of Neurology, reports that exercising regularly in old age may protect against brain shrinkage, more than engaging in mental or social activities.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean...
So all those little mathematical quizzes that I do all day long when I'm walking down the hallway and people are wondering where in the heck I'm at is I don't need to do that anymore.
Yep. When I walk in and see you drooling over the crossword puzzle, I thought it's your Alzheimer's, but it's actually you're doing your mental exercise.
And I have to give the gift shop a plug.
Yeah.
We have a large supply in the new hospital gift shop.
Really?
Crossword, word find, Sudoku, checkers, puzzles.
Wow.
So
well, there now.
For those patients that want some mental recreation or perhaps just some...
That's great.
I get an awful lot of physical exercise at the hospital itself.
Yes, you
now.
do.
More than I used to because now, especially that I've turned 65, I'm usually halfway over to Memphis Medical Services before I remember to forget what it was I went over there for and have to turn around and walk back again.
So you get a lot. I know you get a lot of fitness and a lot of aerobic exercise, but lately, since it's sort of become apparent that there's a test that you need that you won't get, I noticed that you're getting that strength training because as we try to accost you and strap you to the colonoscopy table, you're fighting and you're getting a lot of upper body and core strength. It's good.
When every time I have to go even remotely close to the surgical center, I go into the escape and evasion mode, just watching out to be careful.
Well, you may not know it, but we have phase 7 of the project sketched out, and that's a little tube with anesthetic gases leading into your office. You're going to be asleep before you know it and carted off to the surgery suite.
I've watched
maybe that's the way to do this.
He meets the surgeons as they're coming down the hallway. He says hi. Bud is the friendliest guy on campus.
He really
says hi to everybody except the surgeon.
Yeah.
He puts his head down, no eye contact, keep walking.
Just keep going.
People in their 70s who participated in more physical exercise, and this just includes walking several times a week. You don't have to be a triathlete. That's the important news. Every study I talk about in terms of lifestyle and how it positively influences you, it doesn't mean major change.
You don't have to go killing snakes.
Yeah, especially when it comes to exercise. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit there. They had less brain shrinkage and other signs of aging in the brain than those who were less physically active.
Yeah.
So, I think the evidence is clear.
Well, we just have to keep pointing in the same direction that we always go in as far as prevention goes. It's what you eat and what you exercise. That's that's you.
And I think of the hunting season, and I think of the ATVs and people taking it right up to their stand. I think park the ATV a little further out. Get a little walking in.
There you go. But I'll tell you what, Marcia was talking about the new generators and things, and it made me think about last night when the New York University hospitals thought that all their emergency systems and backups were in good shape and they were ready to go.
Oh, yes.
And they
yes.
lost their emergency.
I know, lights out.
Yeah, absolutely. There was paramedics and other medical workers that actually started the evacuation, and they had a long line of ambulances at the door and waiting to pick people up. And then about the time they had hundreds of patients that night, and there were roughly 45 that were critical that were sent out first, and then they started moving the others. But shortly after they reported that was underway and they were doing it, there was a second major New York City hospital, Bellevue, that lost its power also, and its emergency generators quit.
Yeah.
So what a mess. So our hearts go out to everyone
really
over there
for
everything they're still going through. I couldn't believe it last night when they said that they had winds in New York City of 85 to 90 miles an hour, and that they were going to have high wind for the next 48 hours.
Right. And storm surges of 13 feet. I mean, it's unprecedented.
And their high tide was 8 o'clock this morning there. Yeah. So
you know what's fascinating to me, though? I mean, we saw it in Katrina. We see it with every hurricane. We saw it with Sandy here yesterday. The phenomenon, it'd be an interesting study if we can get a psychiatrist on sometime to talk about it, or a psychologist. The phenomenon where people are clearly warned, this is a deadly storm, your life is threatened, leave. They don't.
No.
I mean, it's an interesting phenomenon. I don't understand that.
I think a lot of them are. A lot of times when you talk to these people, or the reporters got one by phone call, and they're talking about the mess they're in. Oh, we'll be all right. It's
right. I'm on the top of my mobile home. Yep. The gerbil's pedaling the generator. Right. And it's like, I don't get that. You could be up in the Adirondacks and just sort of waiting it out, and I don't understand it.
Well, a lot of these people I remember when they were interviewing them were people that had lived there for a long time. Probably a lot of them lived there all their lives, and they were like, "No, I'm not going." And one lady last night was talking about her house.
Yeah.
She said, "This old girl's been through I don't know how many storms," she said, "and we're riding it out."
Was she talking about the house or her?
No, the house.
The Joplin people can relate to this. Maybe we can have some Joplin Freeman Hospital folks to relate to this.
That's true.
On the radio show. Very timely.
Yeah, but I think it'd be an interesting thing to figure out, because, I mean, one way or another, whether it's a flood or whether it's a tornado or, and things that the weather's bad and they give you warnings and people just seem to look the other way.
Hey, did you hear about this study that they were talking about indoor smoking bans? That since they'd been doing that they had a study that showed that it has substantially cut heart attack rates and this community was in the county where Mayo Clinic is, where they did the study at, and that it also had a huge impact on sudden cardiac death as well. It was a population-based study. The myocardial infarction incidence dropped 33% after implementation of
no doubt about it
that ban smoking.
Yep, they work.
I couldn't believe it. That's amazing.
And then if they'd ban pancakes and hash browns and grits and sausage, we could even do better. Study shows that every single junk food meal damages your arteries.
Oh, but look.
No, I'm serious. Let's take it to the wall, man. Let's go for it.
I know it. And
they don't want to hear that at Dave's and Keith's and Main Street Keith's over at the Gingerbread House, right?
It's that the kids don't want to hear it either. If you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, you eat all the pancakes you want.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, hey, no big deal.
And if you're a 6 foot tall Texan and you want to say that's twice 6 foot tall Texan, and you want to smoke all you can and be like John Wayne, I guess too. When you're rugged and these things aren't taking their toll that you know of, then you don't understand it.
Obviously, I mean it's just mathematics. But later on in life, after you've smoked, I started smoking when I was 13 and smoked till I was 57.
Yeah,
and
you don't because you didn't know then.
No, but I'll pay the price as I get older. Watch, it'll there are very, very few people that smoke their whole lives that don't end up paying the price.
But you get rapid rewards for stopping.
You
I mean, you really do.
Yeah.
I mean, it may never reverse to the total pre-smoking
Right.
status, but you get rapid rewards.
It's amazing how quickly the body starts to reverse
It
itself,
is.
and I'm talking about in hours after you quit smoking.
Yeah. I can't understand. I mean, we know better. I know better than to break into the Halloween candy bag last night and eat the first Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yes,
I couldn't say no.
Do you really have trick-or-treaters in Bible Grove? Come on.
Me. We do.
My kids
We
stop by
do.
to see the postal.
Yeah.
What does Helene dress up as? Not a postal worker.
Oh, no. She has a NASA.
A NASA.
She has a
Yes,
NASA.
my children thought it was a postal worker.
Yeah.
But I think
Do you
my
want her to
kids-
don the NASA outfit tomorrow
I think
again?
I think my kids were the only ones that stopped by. And
I
so
know.
You're eating the rest of the candy.
We were hurt. Yeah. We'll be back.
The night, many times I thought of cutting out, but my heart won't buy it. But if there's nothing shaking, come as here July, I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna roll myself.
All Missourians agree you must vote no on Proposition B.
Prop B isn't about education or health care. It's about greed.
Prop B is a 760% tax increase without any guarantees on how that tax money will be used.
They say this will be additional money for education, but there's nothing that can prevent legislators from diverting this money wherever or whenever they want.
And not one penny of Prop B money is guaranteed to go towards fighting tobacco-related diseases. Not one penny.
Prop B is nothing but a vicious tax that creates a government slush fund filled with hundreds of millions of our tax dollars to use however they want.
What consumer product will they go after next? Beer? Soda? Fast food? Gasoline?
Please go to nomotax.com and read Proposition B for yourself. That's nomotax.com.
Read it, and you'll see you must vote no on Proposition B.
Paid for by Discount Smoke Shop Incorporated, John Rand, CEO.
Halloween is exciting for the kids, but it can also be dangerous. That's why everyone at MFA Farmers Elevator in Memphis have brought you this safety reminder to please keep an eye out for the kids in the neighborhood and have a safe and happy Halloween.
This is Jerry Nyans. As a candidate for re-election to the position of Clark County Eastern District Commissioner, I would appreciate your vote in the upcoming general election on Tuesday, November 6th. I believe that my business experience, education, background, and 4 years serving as Eastern District Commissioner make me the best choice to help direct the operations of Clark County. It is my desire to continue to serve my fellow citizens, and I am able to devote the time and energy necessary to serve in this capacity. A vote for Nyans is a vote for experience. Thank you. Paid for by Jerry Nyans.
This Halloween, let's take time to watch out for all the little ghosts and goblins out trick-or-treating. Their safety depends on you, the driver, to watch for them crossing the streets, going from house to house. This Halloween safety reminder is courtesy of New Century Computers in LaBelle, Missouri.
It's the nothing but net buzzer beater.
Made it! Made it at the buzzer! That's good! That counts!
The gravity-defying dunks.
Absolutely flushed it.
It's the rebound that saves the win. The no-look pass around the back. The student body that never stops believing. It's Tiger basketball.
Mid-American Energy is putting the power to achieve greater energy efficiency in the hands of home and business owners. Both benefit from the incentives and rebates Mid-American offers on new select energy-efficient equipment. These rebates not only can lower the cost of equipment and installation, they also allow customers to enjoy lower energy bills sooner than expected. Visit MidAmericanEnergy.com to find out how to save some green. Energy efficiency is in our hands with Mid-American Energy. Obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
1 out of every 10 Iowans has a disability, and with all of the issues critical to the individuals with disabilities in our November 6th election, it is vital for everyone to be heard. Disability Rights Iowa reminds you that you have the right to vote independently, privately, and at accessible voting machines and locations. Let your voice be heard. As Justin Dart, the father of the Americans with Disabilities Act, said, vote as if your life depended on it, because it does.
I'm Mary Chavez. I'm living with a disability, and I vote.
Hey, Bud, I love this song, but it's October, man.
It is?
It's just the name of the song, September.
Oh.
Well, but they're covering a few of the months. But we can play it until December, apparently, because I just heard them say December.
We got Autumn.
I love this. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire. Great. Good stuff. Used to play this in my youth with a band.
Yeah, we did a little change up on some of the music. Some of
great.
the folks said that one country western song we had with
the Patsy Cline.
Yeah, Patsy Cline. They said, "Really?" so we did a little change up.
Okay. Well, we appreciate suggestions on the bumper music as well as topics to talk about. Again, a reminder: this afternoon at 3:00. Scotland County Hospital open house. I keep wanting to say grand opening because it feels like a grand opening because the hospital feels totally new.
Yeah. We need to remind people, okay, where am I supposed to come to? Well, you're supposed to come to the south entrance. That's the reception area and the ED, and that's where we'll start things out at.
But if you come and park in the north entrance,
it's okay.
Our friend
Jim McClintock
Cowboy
is
Jim.
going to be the cowboy.
Oh, couldn't you pick someone with a more outgoing personality? Someone that might have a sense of humor? Oh,
but he volunteered.
What a
I didn't want to
downer.
hurt his feelings.
Yeah, he's great. You can walk. You can walk in and the dog just died and your car broke down and you had a flat tire on the way to work. You know about that, Elisa. And Jim will just brighten your day with a joke. I mean, I don't know where he pulls the jokes out of
an
him.
adjective in front of that. A stupid joke.
Okay, but that's what makes them funny.
And he'll chase you down the hall.
He will. He'll chase you down the hall if you come in the north entrance, which I think we're going to have to for parking purposes.
Yeah,
and he will be there greeting everybody.
I mean, it's like every time you pass Jim, it's like a trip to the Comedy Central. I mean, it's amazing.
Hey, I got a new one.
I know. Hey, Doc, did you hear about?
Yeah. You got time for a joke?
Yeah, you got time for a joke? To wrap up our little the medical portion of the show, aside from promoting today's thing, the exercise may lead to better school performance for kids with ADHD.
Yeah.
A study in the Journal of Pediatrics looked at about 40 kids, age 8 to 10, half of whom had ADHD, to spend 20 minutes either walking briskly on a treadmill or reading while seated. They then took a brief reading comprehension and math exam that's sort of like those that they do the standardized test. They played a simple computer game, which they had to ignore some visual distractions and quickly determine which direction a cartoon fish was swimming. And it turns out that all of the children performed better on both tests after exercising. And those with ADHD were better able to slow down after making an error to avoid repeat mistakes. That's a real difficult thing for kids with ADHD.
So we're saying that exercise, for one of the things exercise would do for them is help them focus.
Yes.
Awesome.
But the study showed that it's good for all of us to focus because all the kids did better. But the kids with ADHD were able to sort of sit down and slow down and process a mistake so they didn't repeat it.
It was good for them.
Right?
Yeah. I have one of those little mental tests I do all the time where you draw a clock face and make the hands say like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. My doctor did that when he was testing me for Alzheimer's.
Yes.
So I kept that in my... I don't do crossword, but I do that little clock puzzle every once in a while, just to see if I know what time.
Just to do a little self-test.
I got a
sort of like taking your pulse to make sure you're alive.
No, I got an ID thing around my neck, so I always knew who I am. It's just whether, So I'm good. This is all good.
Now, where can folks see? Because often I hear people saying, "Boy, I'd sure like to say hi to Elisa and Bud, and I enjoy them on the radio." Where will you guys be this afternoon?
Crawled up in a cave.
Okay, she'll be. She will not be in a cave. She could be on her deathbed and she would not be in a cave.
We'll be right there at the south entrance, able to help you and meet all your needs when you come in. We'll get you all fixed up for the tour.
Perky and bright and welcoming and engaging as always.
Engaging, yeah.
Always engaging. Yeah. That's Bud, and there's poor Elisa with her Kleenex to her nose. We love you, Elisa. Take good care of yourself, would you? Hey, thanks for being here. We hope to see you this afternoon. Come say hi. We'd love to say hi to you, and we'd love you to come and appreciate your hospital, Scotland County Hospital, this afternoon. And say hi to all the folks that make it hum all the time.
Absolutely. Be careful for Halloween. Watch out for the kids
Yeah,
on
that's
the
right.
streets.
Be careful about that.
Veterans Day is coming up. I want to mention that, too.
You got it. Hey, remember, this week, be well, share it with someone you love. We'll see you next time on Healthy You.
You're listening to the best in area news, weather, and sports on America's Best Country, 100.5 KMEM Memphis, Missouri.